Yo! Video games.
Speaking of that, of sticking the ending and moving on to our kind of like what we've been talking about tonight, RPG-ness. A lot of FF7 news this week.
Yeah.
Devs are like getting a little anxious about talking about
really
shit.
Almaguchi's so bad, like, you just can tell
He's trying so hard
like,
to shut up.
Can I tell him, guys? Please?
Dude, and here's the crazy part about like wrapping this whole thing up. I played the first like 2 hours of Remake for the first time I've played it since Rebirth, so I had that perspective again. I just kind of I have not thought about going back to Remake after Rebirth because why?
Right.
And now that a Switch version came out, I did, and I noticed some shit. I was like, oh, what? Like, my dudes. Straight up, the beginning of the game has a black winged crow weird bird that is entering Midgar.
Right, yeah.
And it is flying towards Midgar and is ominous as shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, it is literally, this is a metaphor for Sephiroth. This is him showing up back and going into Midgar. It literally disappears into a cloud and then vanishes. And then the next thing you get is like, Aerith is like, oh, what's that thing? And I'm like, Sephiroth is just looking at shit. He's just around looking at shit. And then it gets back to Cloud, and he's about to put the bomb, and instead of the thing normally, like a feather comes down, and he doesn't have a flashback, it's just, what the hell? And it's Sephiroth just looking at shit. And I'm like, wow, this is really obvious now. Like, this was the moment Sephiroth got back with his plan. With his, like, I've come back through time, I'm coming back. This is the metaphorical return. This is my ass, like, oh, I'm seeing what I can do about stuff.
Within the first 10 seconds of the game now, we actually are seeing, like, oh, this game's already different.
Yes.
Right? Like,
literally, like, the perspective of Rebirth is now, Sephiroth's just chilling, and he's finding ways to fuck with Cloud. And that's literally it. Then the moment happens where it's like, things are on fire, and it's like, oh, he's scared, I'm gonna get him now. Mm-hmm. Like, it's so intentional. Whenever Cloud is, like, nervous or afraid of something, Sephiroth shows up. And he's like, hey, dumb bitch. You're a dumb bitch, aren't you? And he's like, I'm a dumb bitch. I hate you and I'm a dumb bitch. Like, I'm so stupid.
Yeah, and it's like...
Cloud is so stupid.
And you're sort of realizing, too, like... Because, again, you play Remake for the first time, and you assume that some of this is just like, artistic freedom.
Yes.
So we want to...
You take it at face value. Dude.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, okay. They're just, like, adding... It's like, maybe, like, going a little extra hard, because Sephiroth's already been, let out of the box. I get it. So we're just, like... We're just trying to drive home that Sephiroth's, like, pissing off Cloud. No, he's actually, like, specifically... He is harassing Cloud. He's waiting. He's harassing Cloud even more now. Yeah. Now he's actually going even harder.
He's going even harder on the things.
Yeah.
There's a really cool part because eventually, what is the thing that actually gets in his way that prevents his plan from working? It's Aerith. Like, he says it at the end of Rebirth. He's like, oh, I really underestimated you. You're cheating. Like, this is not in the rule book. Like, what you're doing is fucked up. And he acknowledges that she's, like, way too powerful. So there's a really funny moment that at the first time Cloud, like, the second time he sees him, when he meets Aerith for the first time, you know what Sephiroth does to Aerith? Pushes her out of the way. Not even important. Like, he literally grabs her shoulder and goes, nah, Cloud, you a dumb bitch. You gotta realize, like, his biggest threat is right here because he doesn't know it yet. So it's like, whoa, this is crazy. He doesn't even get it. So you're seeing character development behind the scenes from the perspective of part 2.
I've got another thought. Think about this. Why is Aerith being attacked by whispers in that moment? Could it be that maybe it is a certain Omni Aerith showing up here? Remember how the whispers apparently were taking away from her memories, right? The more she interacted with whispers, the more she lost until eventually that white materia is drained. Could it be maybe that Aerith at the start...
Why is that the first time it happens?
Yeah, maybe the Aerith at the start already knew too much. Maybe the whispers were detecting that, oh, you shouldn't be here right now.
Yeah, that is already known because, like, even, dude, the way she talks to Cloud is not the same as the OG. Mm-hmm. Like, there's one line where Cloud is like, like, you're in danger right now. Like, we're in danger. You shouldn't be here. And she's like, oh, I'm sure you are. So, like, she's like very aware of like, oh, you're just doing your thing.
Yeah.
Cloud.
Cloud.
Yeah, literally that. So, like, the more the whispers are around, she like loses those as time goes on. But literally, the way she talks to him is like, how do you when they first meet in the when he crashes through and they first meet in the fucking flower thing at the bottom of the church.
Yeah.
Like, she's acting like she knows him. where she's like, you know,
She literally says that he's a bodyguard before.
you're a bodyguard, aren't you?
Yeah.
He's like, what?
What? Yeah.
Oh, I mean, wouldn't I hire you to be a bodyguard?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what the fuck? How does she know this shit?
yeah.
So anyway, you start realizing that like, oh, dude, this chick is the same chick as the old games. She's played FF7 before.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Like, it becomes super apparent in a subsequent playthrough. Now that I have played Rebirth, it actually got even more interesting with that little bit of perspective. So,
Yeah. And dude, I still love the fact that they were like that you literally don't get confirmation that what the words that Sephiroth says to Cloud the first time when he's like, "You have to run, Cloud. You run away."
His
and
mom.
then is his mom, and then like it literally says that it takes till the second game before they actually confirm and show that was exactly what she
it's
said.
him egging him on, trying to like, and he literally tells him right after, because I get to analyze his dialogue now. He's like, "Good, Cloud, hold on to that hatred.
Yeah.
like hold on to that shit, dude. You stay mad. Like,
Yeah.
damn, he is a fucking troll.
Yeah.
This guy is literally just trolling the gaslighting and trolling the shit out of him.
That's why he's like now 10 times more fucked up at the end of Rebirth.
Yep.
Like, here's an interesting thing. I'm curious what your thoughts on this are. You remember how in the original reveals for Remake when it was being done by
CyberConnect.
CyberConnect, yeah. Remember how Cloud looked really sickly?
Yeah.
He was like really skinny and kind of sickly looking, and it was like, oh, he just looked a little dank. They kind of toned that down, right?
Yeah.
And eventually, looking a bit normal. What if the further into like part 3 we get, what if he starts to look like that?
Oh, dude, I think he's gonna have bags under his eyes and shit in the next game. I think he's gonna be literally going like true Dark Knight, where he's gonna have like he's gonna look like fucked up.
He's gonna start looking a little weird.
Before
Like,
or after falling into the Mako stream?
I think that'll happen. I think the Mako stream aspect is him supposed to be like actually fucked up, but I think you literally see like the One Ring, impact on him, like similar to like Smeagol type shit. He's not going to turn into that, but like you will see the effects on him as he gets closer and closer and closer to the Northern Crater.
Right.
Yeah, I think he'll turn that level of sickly and gross when he does fall in the live stream, and he'll be like in his chair, like that'll definitely be likely there. But in terms of him like slowly like kind of like being disconnected from reality, like, I think he's gonna start to look kind of crazy.
He's gonna start to look crazy. And I also started noticing something else because I was just watching more Remake stuff and my first reactions to it, and then watching Rebirth stuff. I got like on an FF7 high again.
Yeah.
And I straight noticed something. I found out why Sephiroth needs Cloud. And I think we all kind of knew what it was, but there's a reason why he's so like, oh, like, like don't hurt yourself. Like, oh, be careful. Oh, like, don't think too far ahead. Like, he's like almost like wary of his protection. Like, he wants to make sure he wants to manipulate him and shit and his puppet. Dude, how many times, this doesn't happen a ton in the OG, but how many times in FF7 Remake and Rebirth does Cloud go into crazy hyper hypnosis shit where he is literally turning into Sephiroth? He is literally becoming his ass. Like, somebody showed this to me again, and I didn't notice it. The scene at the beginning where Sephiroth cuts Tifa, the framing of the shots and how he like cuts her and she flies and stuff like that, is the exact same shit that happens in Gongaga. When Cloud cuts Tifa and she falls into the live stream and shit, it is the same framing, dude. Cloud is just turning into this bitch. Repeating the same shit he did to Tifa again.
Right.
So, and that's the thing where it's like he's like, I'm losing myself, which happens in the old one. But what's happening now is that, my dude, Cloud is literally turning into Sephiroth. He's becoming him. Why would Sephiroth, someone that is not of ethereal form technically, why is Sephiroth so concerned at the edge of creation in these weird mystery places that the one kid that has all the power in the world has the ability for his body to stay like pristine and intact? And why dude, he is the Horcrux. Like, he's literally the Horcrux for Sephiroth's return. That's the difference now. And in the old game, what was Cloud's deal? I just gotta give you the Black Materia, bitch.
Yeah.
That already happened. Like, we literally watched that shit already happen. Like, that event took place. The emotional impact of Cloud delivering the Black Materia to Sephiroth happened way before the finale of that shit in the Northern Crater. So it's like, I'm looking at this shit and I'm like, my dude, Cloud is the vessel for Sephiroth. Why is he the vessel? Because he's an Advent children.
Right.
He is an Advent child. Like, he literally has Sephiroth genes inside him. He is the same way that the Advent Children were pieces of Sephiroth.
Yeah.
The only way that he can come back is that if there's a piece of Sephiroth somewhere, he can be reborn.
My one thing though is then what would he need the black materia for? If he's not going to put it, is he still going to plan to give it to himself?
That we don't know. Like, why Cloud has it, what makes him more powerful as a result.
Is it just like, well, I'm going to give it to myself, and then I'll have Cloud, and that's 2 of me. You know, like...
So, this led me to some theories of, like, so where the fuck does that go? Like, if Cloud pretty much becomes Sephiroth by the time he gets to the Northern Crater, which is likely going to happen, he's just going to turn.
Yeah.
Dude, you're fighting Cloud. 100%. At some point in the story, Zack shows up and has to fight this bitch, and he's Zack. You're gonna control Zack, and you're gonna have to fight Cloud.
Yes.
And now this is way different, and now this is nothing like the old game. This shit is fucking going bonkers, dude.
Which I think they probably need to do some of that because a lot of things happen from this point forward story-wise, but there's also, I would say maybe not enough, because how much story progression and Rebirth covers, then to get to part 3 now, and it's like there's a couple big significant events, but it's mostly just like stopping Meteor at this point. And I'm like, they're gonna need to do something kind of like a little crazy, a little different.
Sure.
That's really gonna like mix up, your objective.
Yeah.
You
need to amplify this shit way more. And how do you amplify shit more? How about, let's just throw it out there. Cloud isn't just missing. Cloud became Sephiroth.
Right.
Cloud became him. Like, oh fuck, we've lost him completely, dude, and now he's totally gone. Which makes his eventual return way bigger. Because, like, and also throws Sephiroth's plan asunder.
Do you think he won't fall into the live stream again?
I think that shit can happen. They can just make it happen in a different way.
Here's the way I would think about it then. Like, I actually think, I think that he could turn into Sephiroth. What if instead, like, he gives, like, instead of, what essentially happens where he gives the Sephiroth he gives the Black Materia to Sephiroth while he's in the crystal, and then he basically falls in the life stream.
Because there's all this stuff is like, is this that far different from the original? Not really, because Cloud is entirely a puppet of Sephiroth by the time he gets up there.
What if they end up having to fight Cloud, and then they knock him into the live stream?
That could be
while they're fighting him,
Where it's like, that is the thing that tips him over.
Yeah, like that. Just like they have to end up basically like stopping him, so they like knock him into the stream or something.
You could see how things could definitely like amplify and get much bigger in importance for the next game, and actually do different shit. Like actually start to do, these things all still take place. We're also going to fight the weapons and stuff like that, but like the perspective will change. That's the part where it's like, that's where Zack joins the party.
Oh fuck!
That could be a thing.
Wait. I just had a thought that could be really cool. Stick with me here. What if? Because think about, there's something that is interesting about Sephiroth and his motivations, right? Is that all of that, if like his flashbacks, understanding who he is, isn't really easily able to be told to other characters. What if, imagine this, Cloud gets taken over by Sephiroth. He is basically Sephiroth. He gets knocked in the live stream. Oh god, he's all fucked up again, right? There's a moment, right, then where Tifa gets her time where she goes in there with him. What if she goes inside Cloud and she doesn't see his past, just his past. She sees Sephiroth's.
Good idea. And dude, what if, and that's the emotional connection. I agree with you. That's the emotional connection. Who's the only person that could save Cloud from like fully turning? Like let's say he's savable. Like she believes he's savable. Like no matter what, like she is the one that would believe. I'll do it myself. Like she's the one that would be able to get him out of there.
Yeah, she's trying to get Sephiroth out of there, but in the process of even like getting Sephiroth out of Cloud,
she learns more about Sephiroth.
She learns about
because inside his head is also Sephiroth's backstory.
Exactly.
Where now she understands like where the fuck he's coming from, and oh shit, his intentions are fucked
up. Yeah.
Like this shit, like he's destroying the process of life. Like it's fucked, dude. So I was always wondering the same thing. How do we learn about that shit? It's going to be very weird. Like, what characters are in... It's not Bugenhagen. We don't have Aerith anymore. We have no one to give us info about like what Sephiroth's actual intentions are. So it's like, how do we... unless we get at the very beginning of the game, how do we find out what Sephiroth's intentions are?
Here's the other thing, too. It's not even just about finding out the intentions to us, the player, right? what about trying to get those intentions to everybody else? That's the problem. It's like you can't like okay, we start the game as in a flashback, right? Like, that's been the theory for a while. It's like we'll start the game as a flashback of Sephiroth. Awesome. Who's seeing this? Us, the player? Cool. But what about the other characters? Is it important that they know why he's doing what he's doing?
Well,
I think that is sort of the point. Because I sort of foresee this is where I sort of see the ending to this going. Is essentially a understanding of Sephiroth, and not just like he's just this crazy guy who loves his alien mom. It's almost like an understanding, a coming to terms from the people around him, like around Cloud and Cloud himself, of understanding of like what Sephiroth is doing and going like, you're wrong, but I understand why you want this.
Yeah.
It's almost like, and
it's
then
the Thanos villain aspect.
and then essentially Sephiroth and him fighting as equals, as actual equals, not like, you know, like, well, get out of here, Phantom Demon. Here's Omni-Slash, you're gone. Like, they're like gonna fight each other, and then like Sephiroth will maybe come to the point where he just accepts like maybe he accepts that what he's thinking is wrong.
Yeah. You almost wonder that, or it's like, can Sephiroth be turned? Can he be changed?
Yeah.
Are they going to make him a
It's
good
not
guy?
even necessarily like, oh, he absolutely has to be like, you know what, you're right, Cloud, and then like pissed off or something. It's more just like, almost like an unspoken thing. Maybe he just, because he truly is gone, right?
There's
fucking
there's
gone.
other aspects because they have planted the idea in Rebirth, and it's the most interesting thing to me in that game that they added was that the guy is a dick, possibly, with the Ghee. All of the Ghee stuff presents this idea. The planet maybe is a dick.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
so that entire point comes from part 1, which is that bad, good. Where it's like that's actually OG FF7 perspective, that like Shinra bad, like planet good. Like that is the point.
Yeah.
And then FF7 Remake immediately sets up, well, there's people that work at Shinra and stuff, so are they all guilty as well? And Barrett's like, oh, I mean, kinda, yeah, sorta. And then the Clouds... And
the Whispers are like...
Whispers keeping... Yes.
We must keep
Bad
the
or good.
OG continuity, which leads to space cancer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The planet wants to keep things in line that leads to space cancer that kills a lot of people.
And they're like, is that good?
Yeah, exactly. That's like almost our moral quandary as FF7 fans. That is like, is Advent Children the good ending? I don't know, dude. So the entire premise, which literally Cloud says it in part 1, where he's like, really living in that black and white world of yours, huh, Barrett? And the point of that story is to analyze like the gray area in between. So we want you to think about that shit. What I'm trying to say is that echoes in part 2 and also be a big part of part 3, where it's like the Ghee and the planet.
Yeah.
Did these people deserve this? Or is the planet just benevolent? Oh shit, I don't know. These things were known in the first one, and now we don't know.
And this is what I mean, by the way. This is the gray zone again, right? The same conversation we had before, but this at least potential for it is good. Like this is an interesting. This makes me think. This makes me go like,
Where do they go with
fuck
this
yeah,
shit?
you're right. Wow, this isn't just like like you said, planet good, Sephiroth bad, and you know it's
bad, us good.
Yeah.
And the ultimate point of everything with Sephiroth and really more Jenova, get Black Materia, summon Meteor, cause a scar on the planet so great that it takes all of the Mako energy to heal it, which will like rot the planet. But Jenova's gonna absorb all of that good stuff, and then they're just gonna like parasitically fly off to another planet in the universe somewhere.
That's the OG plan, yeah.
That's the OG end of it. That's the end all be all of all of this. But now they're introducing this idea that maybe the planet's kind of a dick because the Ghee, strangely, are from another planet.
Yes.
They're not actually native to Gaia in 7, and they came there. But the planet was like, you can't come into the live stream. You're not from this planet. You're not native. So you have to be a ghost. You have to exist in this purgatorial, spiritual form,
which is
forever.
pretty fucked up.
This is the same shit about Sephiroth, where even in Ever Crisis now, they're like, hey, is what Sephiroth going through that made him go insane? Did he deserve that? That's what they set up. Where it's like, did he deserve to be put into this situation? Because there's the one thing that they propose about Sephiroth's backstory is that he has controlled his whole life. Like, he gaslights Cloud into being a puppet when he's the biggest puppet of them all. Like, he is just projecting. Because Sephiroth was a puppet as his entire existence. He's also Jenova's puppet. So, I think, to be honest, like, where this eventually goes is that Sephiroth breaks that cycle where he's like, fuck this. And I think that's what the Omni Sephiroth is, where he's like, I think he has realized this, and he goes beyond what Jenova's intentions are of the planet. This is what I want. For the first time in his entire existence, I'm doing what I want.
Did you
and
ever
I need
think
Cloud.
about the possibility that maybe they're also trying to legitimize Dirge's plot in this? Because Dirge,
No.
the whole thing with Dirge was its Omega weapon.
Yeah.
Like, what is the plan?
Chaos.
Like, well, the whole thing is like
Chaos!
The final, like the final kit, like, or, you know, the final plan, or the most, you know, oh, if things get so bad,
Yeah.
Omega weapon will come and just take the planet seed and fuck off into space and then just like leave. So it's like the Wreck-It Ralph 2 thing, where it's just like, wait a minute, going turbo is now good. Like, and that we're
And that's why Dirge is so fucking stupid.
Dirge is like, wait a minute, the planet's gonna kill itself and go off to another planet if things get too bad.
There is a way that you can make that a part of the storytelling without having the Dirge execution, right?
Right, well,
'Cause
that's
that
what I'm saying.
could be interesting, but the way Dirge does it is fucking terrible.
Right, so maybe they're trying to, because the whole thing with the Ghee and everything, I'm like, maybe they're trying to set up the point that, like, whatever entity or consciousness of the planet itself isn't benevolent.
Yes.
It's not like super welcoming and all encompassing, and like maybe the planet itself has issues. Like maybe they're getting to this point that, like, sentient life, regardless of how it was created or where it came from, is worth protecting.
Yeah.
Regardless of its origins.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's where we're getting. Maybe that's where we're getting with Sephiroth. Maybe in Jenova especially, is that, like, yeah, Genova's a parasitic alien, whatever. That's bad. But the Ghee, come on, what did they do to deserve this?
Sure.
Kind of thing, you know, like, oh, like things are getting bad with Shinra, right? Does that necessitate? All right, mass extinction event of the planet, self-inflicted mass extinction.
Yeah.
We'll go start somewhere else. That's okay, but what about all the innocent life on the planet that had nothing to do with any of this stuff?
Yeah.
So maybe it's setting up to ask much bigger questions for Part 3 rather than, you know, the original eco-terrorist plotline.
Stop the meteor.
Yeah,
It's just pretty much
stop
it.
meteor. You know, Shinra bad, planet good.
And it doesn't mean that those things can't still happen. They're still happening. The meteors, like, they've shown it to us twice. We literally witnessed it happening almost identically twice. So it's like, okay, so these things are still going to happen. But I think the way they happen will be different. Like, and that does line up for some things to be, like, very similar, but straight up having, like, Cloud getting taken over by Sephiroth and shit. Like, that gets set up in Dirge. I'm sorry. That gets set up in Advent Children. Like, first and foremost. That, like, in Advent Children, Cloud has his freak out moments where he's, like, about to literally, his eyes are changing shape and shit like that. You realize, oh, Cloud is also technically one of the Advent Children, my dude. Like, he can be a conduit for Sephiroth in some way. And then, what breaks him out of it? Anybody remember the movie? Aerith does.
Yeah.
Aerith is the one to snap him out of it, and she shows up. Whenever Cloud is under, like, mega strain, and he's about to fucking lose it, even in Advent Children, Aerith shows up.
And that's what could be different this time, right? And that's the thing that was it John Q, I think it was, that introduced the idea of, like, the permanent end of Aerith, right?
Oh, permadeath for Sephiroth, permadeath for Aerith.
Permadeath for, like essentially it could
no
be
more ghost Aerith.
It could be that Aerith at this point might actually be completely gone, like really gone.
Yes,
right.
I think that's the point. Yeah.
Yeah, is that, like, that whole situation of killing all those different Aeriths, all across the different, like, versions and stuff like that, literally makes it so that there is no way for anyone to, like, snap Cloud
And
out of his bullshit.
the only way to come with acceptance is that, you know, like, Cloud has to make that choice.
There would be, you know what? I don't think it's going to happen, but I would actually be super impressed if there was a really meta aspect to Part 3, where, like, what you're talking about with, like, you know, permanent, like, you know, like final death.
Final death.
You know, of Aerith.
Because we just know that, like, there's two characters in FF7 that just don't go away.
Right, but what
Aerith is just around, Sephiroth is around.
But
No
what
matter
if, like, the point of the ending too is to be like, we're gonna permadeath these, so as, like, the developers are putting the final touch on their story, like, they're gonna do something narratively that can't, well, you always can, but, like, shouldn't be undone. Like, no, we're gonna permanently say definitively
You can't bring Wesker back from the dead.
dead. Like, they can't come back
Unless you remake this shit again.
like we're capstoning, or, like, putting a nightcap, whatever, I don't know, whatever the term is. We're putting the final chapter on because we're we as the OG creators,
You know
we're
who would
getting
be-
old. We're getting up there.
You know who
We
talked
wanna
about
end this
that
story.
literally, and they were kind of like hinting at this. We're like, this is the end of this story type shit. Kitase was saying that shit in an interview
Yeah.
where he was talking about like, he literally said, "I kind of just want these characters to be happy." And that was like, oh, that's interesting. So wait a minute, characters being happy means that they actually can not have to deal with Star Wars threatening threequels that happen after and shit. No, we can leave them here because the threat is actually done. And as proposed in literally all the shit that Nojima wrote in the books and stuff like that, no, Aerith continues existing in the live stream. She's continually fighting Sephiroth in the live stream, trying to assist people into like the afterlife, like, and because Sephiroth is literally absorbing souls and shit. So she's constantly struggling at the behest of this bitch that is plaguing the planet.
Yeah. And
And she cannot pass on. She's like that's kind of what the story sets up, is that she's stuck there. And I'm like, ooh, that does not sound like a good ending for her. That sounds rough. And
And also space cancer.
and also like these bad things are going to happen to tons of people eventually and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, all right, these seem like rough. She's like, yeah, she's an ethereal janitor. That's like,
Yeah.
clean up after Sephiroth's bullshit no matter what, and his bitch ass still keeps coming back. And it's like, okay, so what happens if you want to actually make these characters happy? Aerith wants to die. Like, that's the thing. She wants to like probably not have to deal with this. Sephiroth wants to live forever. Like, he literally says, "I will not end, bitch." Like, and that's his greatest trait as a villain, is that he refuses to die.
Right.
Like, he has found so many ways to just remain
that's probably going to
existing.
be, and then that's the dichotomy there, is that like Aerith wants to go, like wants to have final
She
rest.
wants the natural process of life to happen. Yeah.
and Sephiroth just doesn't want to accept it.
Refuses life, yeah.
Question for you guys then. What do you think? Do you think that this will lead to an ending where Sephiroth accepts his death, or do you think he will be forced?
Oh, no, you're forcing that bitch. Hell, I think that would be fucked up. Where it's like he like sides, he has to stay the bad guy. And if there's one powerful thing that I would hope the developers understand about OG FF7, especially since they are the original creators that are working on this, the reason Sephiroth is a really good bad guy is because he's established from a very early point in the game as being like, oh, kind of a heavy-handed, this is a mysterious character, the great war hero, like all this kind of stuff. And then within the first like 10% of the game, actually he's the bad guy. We got to go after him. And what do? They don't let up on it. Whole game is about getting to him. Whole game is about him doing this weird shit, summon, meteor, all this shit. Still, but we got to get to Sephiroth. That's what makes FF7 so fucking good, is that it doesn't meander on who's the bad guy. Do we eventually fight God? Does it change like halfway through? Is it not this? Is it not that? Like, that's the things that throw me off in a lot of games, is that, who's the actual bad guy? It's always Sephiroth. It's him throughout like the very large majority.
Maybe like a sympathetic thing where it's like, look, like there's too much injustice in the universe to just let things play out naturally and chaotically. You need me to be an equalizer and a balance. Someone's got to be an equalizer, a balancer, a fair judge of life and death. And the planet's not going to be it, Cloud. Because we saw how the planet reacts to people coming in, and it's not going to be not going to be me, not Jenova. It's like Sephiroth will maybe try to make himself feel like, hey, I'm the good guy here. Because I'm basically trying to be a fair god.
I think he just wants death to not exist anymore. Like, essentially,
that's the gimmick. That's the great question that we're all theorizing as Ever Crisis shit came out, where it's like, oh, Sephiroth wants to break the cycle of life. He doesn't think death is fair. He thinks death is like unfair.
He almost thinks like, it almost feels like he wants everyone to be like the Ghee.
Yes.
We're just like,
exactly.
We are essentially.
Good point. Really good point. Like, we should be allowed to exist forever. Yeah. And let's take away all that pain and suffering and just have everybody exist forever.
Which is interesting to me, because then wouldn't that naturally mean that the Ghee would not want Sephiroth to win?
Well,
the Ghee want to die.
Sephiroth doesn't know that the Ghee exists.
I know. Well, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Well, like, maybe that could lead into the Ghee assisting us, because we have a mutual,
100%.
A mutual like. It's like, why are we siding with?
This is the subtext shit.
Yeah.
Sephiroth's thesis: death is bullshit.
Right.
We should be able to live forever. What's the antithesis? Death. No death is fucking horrifying. This shit is some Pirates of the Caribbean shit, bro.
Yeah.
Not a good idea.
Right.
So we have these two parallels, and yes, we're gonna have to side with these guys because his shit is super fucked up. Because they've been through this shit,
which is also mega. I'm sorry.
Did the Ghee make the black materia?
Yes,
They did.
They created it.
So he
they
has
created
to
it to blow everything
He
up.
has to know about them because he knows about the black materia, so he probably has to know that how the Ghee made it.
Well, maybe like
Maybe not doesn't know about the ghost, but he knows about how it happened.
the
right?
Ghee kind of like physically exist, but don't physically
right.
exist.
Yeah, they're ghosts basically.
Maybe that's where Sephiroth wants everyone to hang out at.
Right.
Maybe jiving at the top of the planet as flesh monsters isn't the goal. Maybe the goal is to like jive in the in between, where you're kind of like stuck, but you can live with that. You can live with Aerith forever there. She will be there forever. That's where she currently is, bro.
By the way, just want to throw out there again. You know what this is also, which is again this. I do feel that there could be again these connections of like because remember how like FF10 is supposed to be tied to FF7 or something.
Oh yeah,
like,
dude, they're very similar far plane shit. Dude,
Right.
Aerith is just Yuna. And somebody made this point to me where you don't realize it when you're watching it because you just play Remake at face value. Dude, the little bit of Omni Aerith that's left when she's going through the train graveyard, she's sending those kids. She literally does it. You don't realize it because she's like coercing them and talking them. You have to pass on type shit.
But I mean, just even think about like what Orin is, what Seymour becomes in FF10, right? Where they are essentially they don't die, they don't move on, they just stay.
They just stay
linger.
stagnant.
Like it being like the Ghee in that way, right? Where they're just like, death does not exist for me. I choose to not leave. The only way to leave is I force you to leave. So
Yes.
I'm sending you on to the great beyond.
it's almost like it's written by the exact same person.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that weird?
It's almost like it's almost
Unsent.
like of the two games and the big Final Fantasy repertoire, 7 and 10 share a little bit of similarity.
What's that weird Easter egg in the Shinra Museum?
Same shit.
Yeah,
They're the
yeah.
only two Final Fantasy issues that share a direct story Easter egg.
Yeah.
But will never be officially acknowledged. That
Yeah.
Right.
Shinra, like that guy, you know?
What was the crazy theory that 7 is way before or way after 10?
I think way after.
Like, because
Way
like,
in the
oh,
future.
this Shinra space program went to somewhere.
Yeah.
I forget. Like, I couldn't remember if it was like, eventually Shinra space program left Gaia and then started 10, or it's way after 10, where it's like,
I don't think that'll eventually make any tangible connections, but I mean, even they realize the thematic connections here are pretty insane.
Yeah.
Like the whole aspect of a live stream of an afterlife of a far plane, this kind of stuff, and having characters like send people to make sure they get assisted to it. That's literally what Aerith does, dude. That is like, and they show Aerith at several points in Rebirth and one big one in Remake in the train graveyard where, yeah, she's not just talking to these kids. Eventually they like go away.
Right.
And then that's the whole point at the end of the graveyard scene. All the ghost kids get sent, and they're finally able to go to the live stream. No more strife and having to relive all your horrible memories and shit. No, chill, kids, you're good. And it's like, oh, Aerith is just doing it. Omni Aerith is just doing what she does in the live stream.
From a very, because I mean, these games are written by Japanese people, so I'm wondering from a very interesting perspective with the live stream itself, because reincarnation's a big thing in a lot of like Eastern philosophy, religion, and whatnot. And I'm like, is the goal of Aerith to like make the live stream continue, like, you know, this cycle of rebirth, or is the goal to have final death, like no more reincarnation, no more live stream?
I think the goal of Aerith is she is pure, like actual planet purity, right? So what has existed since OGFF7? The impurity showed up. Like Sephiroth got stuck into the planet and made it impure as fuck. Yeah. And it's like a lingering cancer. So her entire existence is to, when she is dead, and almost like practically in OGFF7, she accepts her death, dude. Like she kind of knows that this is going to happen to her. She goes on her own and shit.
So it's really just about purifying and then
it's about restoring the actual natural balance of stuff. Like trust the natural balance.
Right.
Even the Cetra maybe got it wrong.
Right.
Like there could be like she actually is maybe the one Cetra that's actually fucking in tune with shit. Where it's like we have to get this shit balanced. Like, and the true balance is that, like, people need to pass on and die.
Yeah.
And there should be nothing getting in the way of that happening. And that's the problem, is that there's weird shit getting in the way as soon as Sephiroth and Jenova show up.
And Sephiroth's trying to make some weird, maybe he's like, you know, some weird point about like how unfair it is.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah.
Or whatever. Because he's not balanced. He's not.
If there's one thing that is consistent throughout the Ever Crisis shit and Remake Sephiroth and all that kind of stuff, is that he was manipulated a lot. Like, he was told what to do at a very young age, and then he was told to be he wanted to be like a war hero, so he liked the aspect that people loved him. He wanted to be like a hero, which is what lines him up with Cloud and Zack. He wanted to be that, but he wasn't. He was a killer.
Yeah.
So, and then he loses his mind again, but then gets controlled again by an alien when he finds out he's an alien, and then fully gets adopted into that shit. So again, it's him just getting manipulated.
Radicalized.
He is so easily radicalized. He was there at January 6th.
Yeah. Wait, I've actually got a thought here. A question I want to ask you guys. In the remake series, what do you think the actual narrative purpose is for Meteor? Because here's the thing.
I don't know. That's a great question.
Because the thing, Meteor in the original is to destroy the planet. However, destroying the planet,
I think it changes in the next game.
Would go against what Sephiroth wants. Because if it's destroyed, then the Ghee get infinite death because there is no planet.
Good job with it.
Seemingly.
Yeah, and it also like kills the life stream technically.
Yeah.
So this doesn't really line up. To be honest, like calling the intentions of what the OG game compared to what they are going is different. It's totally different, and it's like,
so like,
I don't know. That's genuinely new.
It's like, to me, I almost think it could be two things, right? Like, because in the original game, Meteor gets summoned when Sephiroth is given the Black Materia, right? Which I think we all assume, so then Sephiroth summoned the Meteor, and that's, one of his moves is literally fucking supernova.
Yeah.
Thing. Like,
I'm just going to play the game in the background while we talk. Go on.
And